Hey, uh, this is Trash Talk number 16, and my name's Ian Maverick, coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, transmitting around the world. So we've got 2 hours of live Trash Talk. Anyone wants to say anything about what they're working on or what they're doing? I'm just going to go around everyone, and you can either tell us what you're doing, or if you haven't been doing diddly squat, just say hi and we'll move on to the next person. So thanks for joining us. Mute your cell phones if at all possible, and we will kick off with a word from our host, Peter Satinsky. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Mav. Hey, everyone. All right, so we're trying something a little different this time. We're streaming to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So this is an experiment, a way to reach a large audience. And so we'll see what happens. It may blow up, it may not.
I bet we get put in Facebook jail. So I should tell people.
You can aim for that.
Try to avoid swearing, but definitely no politics.
Yeah, we don't have any politics.
This is a politics-free zone.
Candy versus Apple. We really don't bash the other brands. We've never really done that, right? So we don't.
We're beyond that. There was a bit of that in the 80s, I believe, if you go back far enough and look at some of the magazines and things. But
I mean, we have every right and reason to bash them.
Yeah, I know. Everything else is complete garbage except our machines, of course. Ours never crash, and they're monochrome, so I mean,
and it worked perfectly. They never need any maintenance.
I know. Okay, let's start with Tim Halloran. How you going?
Doing good. Good to see everyone.
Tim,
working on?
Oh my gosh, mostly real world work, sadly. So, but starting to look forward to Tandy Assembly in the fall. That's going to be fun to see everybody again. Hopefully, no more pandemic.
Who here's going to Tandy Assembly? Put your hands up. I'm not.
Tim,
not for want of trying, but you know.
Tell us about the class you're going to be teaching, Tim.
Oh yeah, I'm excited because we had to cancel the last time, but I'm gonna try and teach an intro to assembly language on the Z80 using a lot of George and Peter Phillips tools and kind of cross assembling and debugging with TRS-80 GP and then of course how to get it on the real hardware and run things, which is a lot of what I tend to do, but trying to get folks started that haven't done that before, that are a little bit interested and want to do a little bit of assembly language.
Cool.
Will you have any practice code they can type in?
Maybe I've got a couple videos out where I patched a game, the old haunted house, so that might be fun as a getting started. People could kind of follow through and do some of that. There's a couple videos up on my YouTube. I think George linked them in a trash talk a couple months ago.
Restart zero is always a fun thing to try.
Yep, or paint the screen white. That's usually only a couple of lines of code. It's what we all started with, and realized we had such terrible monitors. All right, thanks for that, Tim. Good on you, mate. Peter Phillips, how's Canada going?
It's hot, basically. Getting a bit of a heat wave on this side of the continent. But
well, what's it up to? 21 or 22 even?
No, it's getting up to like 30 or something.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I would change out of this and put a short sleeve button-down shirt on at 30. So.
Someone needs to translate that to real degrees.
Yeah, it might be a little bit more to get farther inland, but I haven't been up to too much. No, just mostly been working, fixing a bug here and there.
Well, we've got to pay the bills, don't we?
Yes, yeah.
And it must be an indication that Trust GP is just, completely 100% solid now. Everything's been solved with it.
No, George will talk to you about that.
It would take a Vernon Hester type to find bugs in it now.
We've become spoiled with its reliability. The other day, I was testing this new set of Xenix images that Joel Hilliard sent me, and I just tested them in TRS-80 GP. I created a hard drive. Everything just worked. I was able to test and install Xenix, everything right in TRS-80 GP. We're so spoiled now.
Don't even need to power up the computer anymore.
No.
Yeah, and that's where you get in trouble, because you develop the entire program and then you go, wait, why won't it really run?
Just tell George, he'll sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not 100%. I mean, several, I guess, back in April, I think, there was a game, Sledge of Removal, and it wasn't booting on the emulator, but it booted on a real Model 1. And I tracked that down to when the Model 1 boots, it reads the boot block, and as soon as it has the last data byte, it jumps to the boot block. So it doesn't check to see if the command completed successfully or if there's a CRC error. So the chip still has to read 2 more bytes to get the CRC and then decide that it's good or not. Meanwhile, though, because it had custom boot code, the code very quickly issued a seek command on the drive. And in the emulator, that was too fast. The emulator considered that the floppy controller was still busy. And after a lot of kind of like messing around and looking at the timings, I came up with some kind of solution for that about, I think maybe making the chip allow the commands to overlap just slightly, because we simulate every 32 or 64 microseconds. So it has more slop than the real chip. And it's also got the guys, I don't know if people have heard of Fusix. It's Alan Cox's Z80 Unix, and someone wrote boot code for the TRS-80, but it doesn't work on a real machine. It works on all the emulators. And it turns out that for whatever reason, they wrote the boot loop to work at pretty much exactly 64, 32 microseconds. So it hits the bytes as they come in synchronously, which is fine for an emulator that's always nailing that 32 microsecond window. But on a real machine, it wouldn't boot, or maybe it had, a 1 in 100 chance of booting or something. So yeah, a long-term goal is to make sure that the emulator breaks that kind of thing properly. But I don't know what the problem is. If it's just like, I don't know how much a floppy disk speed will vary over the course of a sector. Maybe, a small fraction of a percent. No idea. Or if they tend to wobble a bit. But anyways, so.
Time for a new setting, ideal world versus real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wobble factor.
But otherwise, no, nothing. No coding.
Cool. Thanks, Pete. Hope you're enjoying your summer there. Let's see. Oh, I'll go to George. Hey, George.
Hey, Mav, how's it going?
Can't complain.
Yeah, I've added something to TRS-80 GP recently. I decided to improve the printer support a bit, so I'll just share the screen here and show you guys. So what you do here is I've got a TRS-80 GP already running. Oh, great. The stupid bar is in my face. There we go. So what you can do is you can go to printer connection. And if you look, there's a little drop down here. which lets you select, and now you can do an MX70 printer there. So if you do that, it'll pop up a window. And so the printer there, that's the actual about sort of dot for dot equal to an MX70. And I've got a little demo program which I'll run. And it shows the double wide in the graphics.
That's awesome.
There's the printout itself. One funny thing I noticed looking at my old MX70 printouts is that the dot at the top of the paper is a little bit bigger than the tractor hole for the rest of the holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's something to help with feeding the paper. And the MX70 is just another instance of TRS-80 GP, and it has a lot of all these features. And you can actually run the emulator just as a printer, and it lets you do some things that you're not able to do with a normal printer, like drag and drop files onto it. So I've got a little graphic here that I can attempt to drag onto this. Hey, this is great. I guess I'm pressing too hard. Okay, there we go. And so that's sort of like with the input to the emulator, the keyboard input. This will just feed the file directly to the printer. And fortunately, it also supports turbo mode, so we can speed things up a little bit.
Is there sound?
I don't hear the dot matrix head. Yeah.
Yeah, there is sound. I guess it's not coming through for whatever reason. It's not very loud, mercifully, but.
Give us an imitation of it, George.
I'll get my chalkboard.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Shouldn't it be ear-splittingly loud?
It should be, yeah, and I may adjust the levels. Although it's one of those features it's nice to have for accuracy, but I imagine there's few who are going to love it.
Well, you need to include a routine that checks the system time, and the later in the night it is, the louder the sound of the printer is.
Sort of like the opposite of dark mode or something, right?
Well, then you need to have an acoustic cover emulation.
But then he also needs to add a fan noise when he's running in Model 2 mode.
Yeah,
all things which people will switch off immediately. I remember when I was using TRS-32 emulator. It said it has a disk drive sound. It's the most annoying sound you've ever heard. It got turned off after about 10 seconds. I sort of shuddered to think how much effort Matt went into including that sound effect, but it was just too much, mate.
This is awesome, George.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do this. It's not actually an emulation in the proper sense. It's just, interpreting the printer codes. I haven't gone in there and emulated the microcontroller or whatever, which is kind of a shame, but maybe for the next one, for the line printer too, or whatever.
It's a good choice of font you've got for the printout, but I'm pretty sure the MX80 has lowercase descenders. But if you're just pinching a font offline that's free, that's a pretty good approximation, actually.
Well, you must have been one of those fancy people who had an MX70 or MX80. We only had an MX70. So yeah, it didn't have descenders, and it was a little bit lower resolution, but a little easier on the pocketbook. So.
All right. Oh, that pocketbook never bothered me.
Yeah, so that's that. That'll be out in the next version for sure, in one form or another. I hope to get it so it can print to a real printer, which should be disturbingly meta.
Well, it's a great addition, and it's automatically made Kyle Wadston's latest product instantly redundant. So nice work. Is Kyle Kyle here today? No, he's not. Okay.
Don't need that for the real me.
He'll see this on the playback. Hey, Kyle. All right. Thanks, George. Let's see. You.
Me?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. I've got a few software projects I'd quite like to do. While back, I wrote my own version of a basic interpreter, and it was actually for a completely separate project. It was for an embedded project, so I wanted to keep it really simple. And I started wondering, hey, would this work on the TRS-80? So I thought, well, if I keep it simple enough, it might actually work. So the idea of this particular basic is not really to replace any of the sort of built-in code or anything. It was a basic that doesn't have any floating point. So everything is just integers. So it runs quite quickly. And but it's got graphics commands. And I was thinking of using it to write games so that you can do things like draw lines, and it has built-in sprite animation that you can use, and also sound effects. So obviously those things are all missing from the usual basic, and you don't really need floating point for most games. You can do it all with integers. So that's all it needs. So it's actually a very short program, and I was thinking of trying to write some games with that as well. So that might be quite interesting. Yeah, so that's one of the projects I want to do. Another one is a hardware project, because I'd like to try and get this guy working behind me at this old Model 4. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, except it hasn't actually got any floppy disk drives. So it's not very useful. Wasn't there a compatible drive you could get, an IBM drive that you could make run at a different speed that worked? Do they still make that? It was a TIAC, wasn't it? And I don't know if you can still get that, because I don't need it.
You're probably thinking of the FD55 GFR, which is a high density drive, but it can be set to run at 300 or 360 RPM. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right. There was one, and there was a hardware jumper, and you could set it to be at the 300, and that actually worked. I don't know if that's compatible if you completely. So I might need some help from a few people when it comes to doing that, getting that hardware working. I'd quite like to get that working so I can use it to test stuff. You guys were talking a minute ago about the difference between emulators. It's great to develop on emulators, and then when you put it on the real thing, you find that it probably works, but the way that if you're doing anything graphical, the way that the screen refresh timing reacts with the software speed is always different on a real machine than on an emulator. So you find that there's too much flicker or such and such, and then you go back and make it actually work properly on a real machine.
Regarding your drives and upgrading that Model 4 real quick, and not to get into a real discussion here, I'll take it offline with you. I can help you a lot on those. I've got all the different type of drives you can use on that machine. So I'll send you my email, and then we'll take it offline afterwards.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a GFR. That's a FD55 GFR is the model. If you do a Google on that, there's a fair few resources out there. Once you know the model number, people talk about different generations of that drive and how to switch it between 300 and 360 RPM. So you should be able to find everything you need between Patrick and what's online. So good luck with that, and maybe next month you can tell us how successful it went. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Anything else, Hugh, or that's basically?
I do have an idea to write an arcade game, which I'd quite like to have a go, but I want to keep it quite simple. So I thought I might try Asteroid, which is basically just drawing a bunch of lines, really, and a bit of sound effect. So I can't remember whether was there any good Asteroids? I can't remember because obviously the resolution is limited. So
Nova is pretty good. Asteroid Nova is a really early one, but it works well. It's got no sound, so if you can add sort of sounds.
some sort of explosion or something, and the thrust. You've got to have the thrust sound. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that might be doable. I was thinking that if you're going to run a competition again this year, if I can try and get something like that done before the end of the year, that might be an entry.
Yeah, we're running a competition that would definitely qualify. So, yeah, good luck with that. And I mean, you already got all the ideas from us, so it basically just writes itself, doesn't it?
You got to have the asteroid's heartbeat sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that, Hugh. Good on you, mate.
Okay.
You. By the way, I have an entire box of original OEM TRS-80 full height 5¼ inch floppy drives that I picked up from an estate sale of an owner of 5 Radio Shack stores who died. I think there's probably 12 drives in it. I got it for like $5.
Damn.
So if you, so I haven't even opened it since the auction to pay any attention to it. I'm not sure which model or which version of the drive is in there. It might have been for 3s or 4s. Were they even the same drive? I don't know too much beyond the ones.
Yeah, they were the same.
Oh, okay. So they're probably still in styrofoam in the box original drives.
Yeah, just throw the catalog numbers at a specialist, and they'll be able to tell you what they are pretty quickly.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, I hadn't even opened the box since they were trying to get rid of them. I said, I'll take that box for like $5. They're like, okay.
Yeah, Patrick
on, yeah.
I wonder, Quentin, were those? Do you think they're new or were they returns?
No, they're original, still sealed in styrofoam.
Where do you live again?
I'm Champaign.
Illinois, Champaign. Oh, well, yeah. You're not far from me. I'm just in Texas. I could be there tomorrow.
Not far. That's a drive.
All right. Since we got Quentin on, hey, what you doing, buddy?
Well, I didn't make much progress on my adding DMK support to Grease Weasel this last month. Way too many distractions. But I got a lot of stuff cleaned off my plate, so I'm hoping to jump right into it. About the only other thing I'll add is back in like 1980, I had a Z80 poster that in college days it got lost and I was kind of disappointed. But for Father's Day, I ended up getting a replacement gift, which is a little Z80 poster that's printed by a company called Displate. And it's not quite as good as the original poster I had, but it's still pretty decent. So
nice.
Nice. Okay.
When I get the chance, mount it on the wall, probably behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. I was actually surprised a Z80 poster was still available in print.
Did you have to hint to get it, or they just sort of?
Yeah, I had to hint rather hard.
Okay. It's good when a plan comes off, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll dig up the link to it and post it in the chat.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's it.
Good on you, Quentin. Josh. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
How's the Model 100 world?
So the Model 100 world is looking good. I'm just like treacherously close to having this little demo here. So I talked about last time the backpack drive, or I think I was calling it something else, but it's officially called the backpack drive now. Yes, John's showing one off right there. So let me see if I can share this content from second camera. And all right, this lovely picture that you can probably make out of my 100. But here it is. This is the backpack drive, and so it just drops right onto your serial port and sticks out. It's quite a comfortable little unit here. And new features have been added to the firmware. The command line mode, let me get the label out of here. So if I gotta turn it on first. So it's just powered by a single AA. Most of this space is just taken up by that massive battery. Oh, it's going into bootstrap mode, so it's trying to bootstrap my machine. But if I press enter 4 times, I go into the command line mode. And so he's added some really nice help commands here. And there's actually a whole bunch of help files stored on the SD card, so you can get help about any one of these particular commands. And it's just going to scroll forever here, I think, because I didn't realize it was going to print the help for every single command line in there. But it is a great replacement for the no longer available NADS box. It works with TS-DOS. So I've tested it with the Rex CPM, the Rex Sharp. It'll also bootstrap TS-DOS into RAM if you don't have any of those ROM options. It has a built-in bootstrap mode that was what you saw printed out when I turned it on with Telcom. But I can use a little directory listing command here, and it'll show me all the different files that I have on my SD card. I can CD into a directory if you have a DOS that doesn't handle directories. Disconnect. And I'll go back in here. I've gone ahead and loaded TS-DOS off of my built-in Rex. And F4, there we are. There's my loader files, and I can just load up a basic program. Just hit F1 to load it. And poof, there we are. And stores everything on a nice little micro SD card. So the actual units are starting to make their way out into the world. We're getting lots of good feedback on the manual, on the command line interface, the setup process. Basically, take an SD card. We're finding some issues with the SD card formatting, and the author is fixing it right now. Like literally, I'm on Discord with him fixing it. And you just download the SD card file from the GitHub repository, extract it, and that sets up all of the bootstrap files, so you can load TS-DOS or Teeny if you don't have any of the ROMs on there. And it's being made to work with the Ultimate ROM 2 as well, that needs a little bit of the DOS on the SD card. And, physically, Jeff Burt, Hey Burt, has made this really nice 3D printed case for it, and a couple of screws here to hold it in place on the DB25. Here's where the SD card goes. The door, there is an extra little door here. If you don't want to pop the card out very often, you can just close that up right. Helps if I do it the right way. And there we are. Now it's all nice and closed up. It's made some tweaks to the power switch to make it a little bit easier to hit, because right now you kind of have to get it with your thumbnail. And a few more tweaks to the low battery alert for the software, so it'll work a little bit better, I think, with rechargeable batteries. But really, alkaline batteries are going to be the way to go. And I've been using this thing for testing in like 2 months now. I'm on the original battery that was in it when Jeff sent it to me. It really sips power, so it is a very, very nice device.
Wow, I might actually use my Model 100.
Yeah, I've got one on the way.
Cool. Has anyone bought a chipmunk with them?
Yeah,
That's Paul.
I think Paul's in chipmunk mode.
Okay.
Paul, you're in chipmunk mode.
Thanks, Josh. That's cool. You're going to be selling them at Tandy Assembly?
I'll have to talk with the people creating them. I mean, right now, Jeff is manufacturing 3D printing the cases, and the other guy is making up the hardware. I don't know how big a hardware run is actually going to be made. It's still trickling out to a few people who want to do more testing. Probably not going to see any major hardware revs. So if they're open to it, yeah, I'll try to have a few to sell at Tandy Assembly. But I imagine most of it's going to go through a large pre-order to fund a big board run. But yeah, I would love to have just a couple of these to sell at Tandy Assembly, because I always like to have something about the M100 represented there.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
I predict it will be very popular.
Yeah.
I predict it will be very popular as well. It is a really good replacement for the devices that you can't get anymore. So I'm really looking forward to Tandy Assembly. I think signed up to do a talk, the tech talk about soldering.
Yeah, Josh, I wanted to ask you about that. So we're definitely still on with that, right?
Yeah, we're still on with that. I still owe you something for that, don't I?
Yeah, send me like the abstract,
Okay.
and just short bio information, and I'll put it up on the website.
Yeah, I've been dragging my feet. I apologize for that, but it's going to be a pretty technical, pretty scientific engineering, everything you ever wanted to know about soldering, but didn't know you needed to ask sort of thing. And then also hopefully going to have a few extra soldering stations with me to do a learn to solder table at TASM, because I really think that every vintage computer show should have a learn to solder table.
Awesome.
Wish I could be there.
I wish you could be there too, Mav. I'm gonna miss you.
Are you going to have any rec CPMs there?
I don't know. Again, it would be a case. See, I don't make any of this stuff. When I sold the Rexes there, those were actually ones that I made, but I'm not making any of these products right now. So it would just be whether people are willing to consign them to me for sale at the show. I don't know what the interest out there would be.
Well, any show, I would say, will naturally spread the word and generate interest. So, I mean, I know next to nothing about business, but they would want to have a presence of of those things at the show.
I would think so, but at the very least, I will have pretty much everything there to demo, because I think I have everything that has come out for the Model 100 in the last 5 years.
That's great. Good to see that someone's looking after it. Okay.
No, chipmunk mode still.
No, you're good now.
Okay. I was going to ask you, Joss, is the power low enough that you could have done like DTR stealing power and not have the battery?
No, power harvesting is not an option because of it. Like maybe we could have gotten the microcontroller low enough, but actually the limiting factor right now seems to be the current draw when writing to the SD card.
Yep, I would expect that. Okay. Just thought.
It definitely needs a battery, but it's so cute. It's so tiny, and the battery lasts just forever.
Great. All right. Well, since he was just speaking, Paul Burrell, how you going, mate?
Doing okay. Been crazy busy as usual. Been working. I've got memory cards up and running and stuff now, and still trying to work through an issue with the MMU right now. It's timing's kind of trying to get it to work across all three boards. The timing's been kind of rough. So anyway, just finishing that up. Chatted with Ken a little bit about it, and Bobby and I have all been kind of talking about it. But 8 meg card really doesn't help you a lot with no MMU. So that's you can easily do the 1 or 2 meg mode and get some stuff out of the standard Xenix, but that's it's better than a lot of them. But anyway, that's kind of what I've been working on for the last month. Just trying to finish that up and have it ready for TA.
Awesome. Cool. Good to hear from you. Vernon, how you going, mate?
I'm doing fine.
Yep, I read your article in the TRS 8-bit. I don't know where Dusty is tonight, but it's probably the middle of the night in England, so we'll give him a pass. What have you been doing?
Nothing. Well, trying to organize my DOS. I got a request, I think last month, about running Model 1 on a hard disk. And I went and looked at my Model 1 source code, and I have to re-educate myself exactly what it is and how it works. It's been a while. So I also noticed that I have the same thing in multiple DOSes, and I'm trying to consolidate the source code and well document it. So if I ever have to go back again, or if someone else picks it up, they can understand what's going on with it. I'm making.
You've gone and looked back at it.
Beg your pardon?
You've written stuff. You've gone and looked back at it, and you go, "What was I thinking?" Or
no, the code's okay, but I don't understand. A lot of my comments are more cryptic. At the time I entered the comment, I understood what I meant, but looking back at it, after 40 years, you say to yourself, "What in the world does that mean?" And I'm trying to get it to make more sense. I've gotten better with that. You know, back in the late 70s, I didn't add comments, very few comments. And then
Yeah.
I started putting in comments that are cryptic. And now I want to put in a good explanation of what the code is actually doing.
It's a good practice to get into. Some of my early software had no comments at all in it, but I only had 16K, so why would
Yes.
you?
Sometimes when I'm feeling bad, I put in comments that are wrong. So like in 20 years, they really don't know what the hell's going on.
To trip up your future self.
Obfuscation, call it.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, so you're working on getting a hard disk, working on a Model 1. Is that what basically you're trying to do,
I
Vernon?
have a hard disk working on the Model 1,
Okay.
but it's an Omni drive, some different. It's not a standard TRS-80 5 meg drive.
Yeah.
I have a 5 meg drive working on a Model 3, working on a Model 4, but not the Model 1. Mainly
Okay.
because I had a cable problem, and this drive that I put on the Model 1 had a dual cable. It had one that works on the Model 1 and the other one works on the 3 and 4.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you use a Radio Shack hard drive adapter? That 40 to 50 cable?
The manufacturer supplied the cable.
Okay. All right. So cool. Be good to see
It has
pictures
two
of that
cables.
drive.
It has one cable that's the 50, that works on the Model 1, one cable that works on the Model 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's cool. I'll be keen to hear how you go with that and see any future articles or photos of it that you can get together. So so your Model 3 and 4 with the hard drive, obviously it's running multi-DOS.
Yep.
That'd be good to see as well. I'm sure a lot of people would be keen to know how that's set up.
It's simple.
It's
Hey, guys.
it's not simple if you don't have the drivers. That's the problem. But there's a lot of fan base of multi-DOS that would like to get it running on their hard drive emulators. So, yeah. All right. So, anything else, Vernon, or that's pretty much it?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Hey Vernon, are you definitely coming to attend the assembly?
I wouldn't say definitely. It's like a 90% chance.
Cool.
And each time you nag him, it goes down by 5%. Just saying.
I didn't ask him if he was going to speak this time, but it's inferred.
What's that?
Oh, 85% now.
What was fun? What was funny was before, Vernon, when you said a cable problem, I couldn't hear. It sounded muffled. It sounded like you said that you had a table problem, which is what we all have, which is just not enough real estate to set up all our computers. So
Yeah, no.
But, a cable problem is much easier to solve than a table problem with this hobby.
We have table problems every damn Tandy assembly. There's no space for all the computers. They're big.
Cool. All right, then.
Hello, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks, Vernon. Good on you, mate. Peter Bartlett of Mize and M3SE fame. How do you do?
Hey, how you doing?
Long time no speak.
Yeah, this is a new thing for me. I'm not exactly photogenic, so we'll see how it goes.
A less photogenic person than myself would be hard to find, but I still do.
I'm kind of doing the Grizzly Adams thing right now. It's not normally like this.
It's winter, so I'm doing it. Anyway, what's new in Bartlett Labs?
I've got these prototypes I'm working on that people really seem to want, but the problem is people keep buying stuff. you know, being in business is great until there are customers. They keep buying stuff. And so I have to make more, and that takes time. And so I don't get to work on my prototype, but I'm building this great big electronics lab, which is pretty cool. But, you know, I don't have time to work on the prototypes, which are really good things. I mean, there's, okay, I've shown Pete Tadinski this thing before. It's a wireless and SD. You pluck out your CF card adapter from the Mize or the Mies, and you stick this thing in there, and then you got wireless and you got SD. You know, that's fun. Unplug this sucker. If you're into Cocos, which, you know, I'm becoming more and more of a Coco guy, which, you know, I never had one growing up, but, you know, there's this thing, which boots Coco 1, Coco 2, Coco 3 HDB DOS. You just you know, flip the switches and take your pick. It's got SD hard drives, it's got Ethernet, it's got VGA. You know, Neil was pretty interested in this thing in 2019 at the last Coco Fest. And, you know, it's pretty cool. It's just, you know, I don't know when to stop is the problem. I'm just adding more and more stuff to it.
But do you have to open the Coco, or is it just plugged in?
Pardon?
Do you have to open the Coco, or does it just plug in the side?
This just plugs in.
I think fair few people who don't really want to open their computers might be interested in that,
Yeah.
because
I mean,
most of the Coco upgrades out there require you to flip the lid and start messing around inside.
Well, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to this. The disadvantage is that it has no access to the vertical sync signal. So certain games, certain cartridges don't work right because they do their updating of the screen during the vertical blanking, and you know this thing has no way of knowing when that's happening. And so the two games I've noticed so far that have problems are Slinkster and anyway, there's one other. You know, it works fine for 95% of games and cartridges, but you know, it can't tell when vertical sync is happening, so it gets a little iffy. But you know, TA 2019, people were pretty enamored with this thing. And I haven't touched it since.
That would really sell, Pete. But then you'd have more customers, and that would be bad.
Yeah, Malcolm, you know Malcolm. He keeps trying to get me to just release the VGA part of it, just as a product. But you know, if you've seen Mize and Mies, you know I don't know where to stop. You know, I just don't. I just keep adding stuff. And you know, the only application I've written for this for the Ethernet is Telnet, and Neil was pretty impressed with that at TA 2019. And it's got the VGA. You know, it's got a floppy controller built in.
Will the eventual released one be that size or reduced in size?
No, I have no idea what the physical form of this thing is going to be, because I'm not a Coco guy. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'll give you a hint. Take a standard Coco disc controller and make it about the same size, and it'll be a hit.
Yeah, you know, it could be done. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here, but it could be done.
Cool. What about on the monochrome systems? Or are you just building Mises and Mises and spitting them out?
Yeah, I mean, it really is taking up all my time just building stuff on demand.
Yeah.
And
Tell me about it. Yeah, these 16-hour days get to me as well.
The big problem is that all three of my main products depend on these FPGA modules from China, and the quality is so bad that I have to rework at least 50% of them to get them to work at all. And it kills me because I want to ship a reliable product. But this Chinese stuff is just killing me.
And takes forever to arrive, or are you getting it fairly quickly? It's just garbage. That's the problem.
Oh no, and I've got decent inventory control. I've got a pipeline. I get it when I need it, but it doesn't always work. And so I spent a lot of time with my heat gun, redoing FPGA, soldering, and it's maddening because I'd rather be working on my prototypes. I really would.
You need to employ a kid on slave wages or something. Isn't that how it normally works?
You don't. Okay, you're in Australia. You don't understand the implications of employing someone in the United States.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a son or daughter. Just
Well, I have neither.
Okay, all right. Well, scratch that one.
Here in the U.S., if you're going to employ someone, you have to pay state unemployment, federal unemployment, Social Security, Medicare, workers' compensation. Okay, it's a nightmare.
And that's even before they pick up a soldering iron and burn themselves.
It's nuts. Okay, it's nuts. So
Cool.
I just do my own thing, and
Yeah.
I sell them as fast as I can make them, so that's fine.
Yeah, mate, I have these 12 and 16-hour days as well because I go for weeks where I get no orders, and then one weekend I'll get 8 orders that all need to go out.
Yeah.
By the middle of the week.
It comes and goes like that. So I assume I'm not going to see you at in October.
Oh, not for want of trying. I would totally be there, but they are still locking down the borders of Australia. Not allowed to leave unless you're a politician or a celebrity. You could say I'm a celebrity, but only within this community, so that won't fly.
That's too bad. I mean, it's kind of a fun rivalry between you and I.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course, my product's better, but we all.
No, it's not. Where's your VGA output and your most port?
Yeah.
Hey man,
all right.
We could all totally vouch for your celebrity-ness if you need us. Just let us know, all right? Just to have you there would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll walk in with a handful of printed out character references from the US TRS-80 community.
Dot Matrix.
Let me go. Sucks because I've had both my COVID jabs, so there's nothing really stopping me except that not letting us fly. So oh well, maybe 2022, hopefully.
I haven't been vaccinated at all, but I think a little over a year ago I had something that I think probably was COVID. I could barely breathe, so I think I'm probably okay.
Probably. I mean, like I said, I'm vaccinated, so I can surround myself with COVID people. Apparently,
and as well, you should.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Pete.
And I've been vaccinated, so I think I'm good.
You're never going to get it again, Peter. You've had COVID and been vaccinated, so you're one of the lucky ones.
I think I had COVID. I don't know that I did, but the worst part was my ribs from coughing hurt so bad that, I could barely breathe, it's not like what they say it's like your lungs are full of fluid and all that stuff. No, my sides hurt so bad, to blow my nose hurt like hell. So I think it was probably COVID, but I don't know.
And what, you roll your eyes every time another order comes in, you've got COVID and you've got to build another MIRE and send it out by the morning. That's always fun when you...
What bothers me is these Chinese FPGA modules are so poor quality. Maybe 50% of them work the first time, maybe 50%. And they're the heart of every product I have, right? But they're crap. I mean, how hard is it to solder a friggin' chip? But they don't get it.
Well, when you're being paid 30 cents for the day for doing 1,000 of them, then, something's got to give.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for monopolizing the conversation.
Okay, so your rant is over for this month. You can come back next month with another rant, because that was actually quite fun.
Rant.
Yeah. Good on you. Actually, I do have a task for you at Tandy Assembly, Peter. I need you to sit in for me at the trivia, okay?
I cannot possibly hold a candle to that. No way.
Satinsky, just make it happen.
I'll call him off.
I'm a Model 1 guy. I don't know anything else.
It's okay. All right. It looks like I'm not going to be able to defend myself, even with so much buffering. I couldn't do it long distance.
I'm surprised they're even going to bother, because you can't be beat.
Well, don't know. We had Paul Schreiber last time. He got pretty close, except he didn't know details of his own designed devices, which I beat him on.
Yeah, well, so. I don't remember my designs from 30 years ago either. So
there was a great question. It says, "What's the catalog number of the Model 3 high res board?" Which I know what it is, and
the answer is, who gives a damn?
Yeah. Well, what I thought was amusing was probably working at the shack. You design a product, and then marketing works out the packaging and the catalog number and everything. Paul may not have even known the catalog numbers of the things that he's made. It just ends up for sale after he's designed it and locked it down. But that was fun. Yeah, he's so far got the closest. So if Vernon's there, I mean,
it's like all
over Red Rover.
It's like all good Olympics. Sometimes you don't get to be crowned every 4 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out your analogy, Patrick, but anyway.
It says you win the gold medal every year. Give somebody else a chance.
All right. Okay. Good on you, Pete. Thanks for that. Who's next? Patrick Bureau. How's Texas?
Hot. Humid.
Hot.
Very hot. So I've been doing mostly life stuff. A few of you known that I lost my daughter in March and all that. So it's been a little bit of hectic at the house and all that stuff. We're changing the rooms around. Anyways, beyond that, Ken's got me back on track for working all those drives that I have. I know that somebody earlier mentioned that they have 4 or 5 brand new ones, and I'm very curious about those. I'm working on restoring a whole bunch of drives because I've got like 30 or 35 double-sided, single-sided of different brands to get them back at the people that may need some. Besides that, Vernon, I'm going to bug you about something later on, but it's not crucial right now. I've been talking a lot with the people on the other side of the pond, namely in France. And there's surprisingly quite a few TRS interest over there. mostly on the Model 1s, but there's some on Model 3s, and we're exchanging a lot of information across, namely operating system exists and stuff. They were seemingly segregated from a lot of new products or products that existed in the United States, and they never made it to Europe. I was wondering if you want to get together at one point, maybe consider me helping you out making a French version of the multi-DOS for Model 3, Model 1. Something, if you have time and you want to chit chat about that, maybe we get into that. Besides that, I have nothing else to report.
Boxes. What about the boxes? Where are we stand on those?
Oh, the boxes. I'm sorry, Peter. Pete, I forgot about that. My brother actually just texted me that he's sending the final product. What happened? We couldn't get the measurements right for weeks at a time. So a lot of it was me measuring an old box and couldn't get it.
Oh, tornado warning.
No, child abduction. Sorry, multiple phones that are all going crazy. We were having a problem with distance. He shipped me 2 or 3 of them, and the box was too tight or was too large. So I ended up purchasing a box from somebody in Toronto, and it was in good shape, and I shipped it to Montreal. And he literally, what his company does on these cases, they take the box apart, and it was a complete box. So internals, externals, the foams, etc. He replicated the box complete and set it up as a kit. So basically you'll get a box of a certain size, and it will contain the folded box inside, the foams and everything for the outside, the inside. Basically you just have to open it up, put it together. The foams are already pre-glued, so everything is all packaged. I'm getting that final product is being shipped tomorrow. So I'll have some updates on that as soon as I can get my hands on it. And then I'll get a price tag of how many per units, and we'll do a group purchase, whatever, whoever's interested. If I'm not going to be likely to be a TA, but I may end up giving it to Dittman, Mr. Eric, and if I can convince him just to show it around so people can take a closer look at the quality, if there's inputs. There are no markings on the boxes. These are brown boxes. I'm considering doing a silk screen possibly. It's just that they're not allowed as a corporation to do a registered brand without me being the owner of the brand, blah, blah, blah. It's all copyright issues.
Make a stencil and then just rattle can it on that side.
That's what I was thinking of doing. Basically copying. He sent me also the original, so copy the stencil that's on the box and basically spray painted, whatever. I was thinking of doing that.
We realize if it's got all the labeling on the box, then people are going to see those on people's porches and say, "Hey, it's a TRS-80," and steal it from the porch. So
after they stop laughing.
So I'm going to try to get the box to Eric so he can show it off, and so people have an idea and take some feedback from people. I'm sure somebody will have a Model 3 or Model 4 over there to try it out, to test it out and see how well it fits and all that.
I'll just take one along.
There you go. So hopefully this will be the final version, and hopefully this somebody wants a box. I'm not sure how much there is really interest, but some people have been pointing that they would like one. So
well, if there's it's sounding like they're going to be sturdy and rugged enough to be reused. So for the people that are sending them around to be painted or to be repaired or doing a number of them, you could probably, a potential eBay seller could say, we use this as a shipping box.
Well, there's the cardboard is all triple fold, so it's going to be a very sturdy external box.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem for shipping. That was the premise I had originally, is to get it shipped out.
Yep. And so it'll survive one of those FedEx or UPS videos where the jaded driver just kind of throws it over the fence and
well,
don't go there.
I can't.
That That doesn't really happen, does it?
I actually, well, once I get in, may consider putting a Model 3 that I don't really care about and just dropping it about 10 times to see how it comes out on the other end. But right now I only have one example of the box, so
yeah,
let's see what it looks like, what people think of it. I'm open to suggestions. If the only thing I might not have is, and I think he's replacing it. I don't know if you know the Model 4 box on the inside is a square, and then there's the drop off in the front and comes back across, and there's an empty space there that used to be a box for something, but I can't find an example of it.
Okay.
I think it was like a box that contained the manuals or whatnot. That's the only thing I haven't been able to reproduce yet. But if I can find one, it'd be easy enough to get it done.
Cool. And as always, a short word in the newsletter wouldn't go astray.
Okay.
It's free publicity.
Will do.
On you, mate. Let's see. I want to go back to Hugh for a moment. Did you hold up a disk drive before? Had you found the drive I was talking about?
That's right. Out of pure luck.
You already got one.
There was one on the floor.
That's like my house.
Yeah, exactly. So it was plugged into an old PC that I was using to restore some old data a few months ago. So that's the model number. That's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
GFR.
It's only a half height one. So, but
practically every, I would say maybe 90% of 286s and 386s, which were sold with a 5 1/4 inch drive, had one of those suckers in it. They were cheap and reliable and sold for a long time. So they're easy to find. There's no need to overpay on
no. So
on those drives.
Possible that I might have actually some more. I'll have to have a look elsewhere in other piles of junk, and might actually have another one. But really, I only need enough to get it going. I don't need it to be a full system. I might better get away with just the one drive because it's really only going to be for testing.
Yeah. What are you hooking up to? A Model 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You might need to make a new cable because the 34-pin, the bus cable's upside down relative to a TRS-80's one. So you'll have to make a longer cable or mount the drive upside down. And remember, you insert the disc every time upside down, but I'm too stupid to be able to remember that. So I built a longer cable.
I'll probably do the cable thing. All right, great. So
good on you. Yep.
Yeah,
nice and easy. All right. All right. We're just over an hour in. Let's see who, Eric, what have you been doing?
Oh, mostly real world work. I did recently get an auction, won an auction for some Model 2 discs that included 2 original Aton CPMs discs, and those have arrived. So I'm sending them off to Pete to image, and hopefully that'll give us a good set of Aton discs for the Model 2. Other than that,
for those who have no idea, what is Aton?
It's one of the companies that wrote version of CPM 2.2 for the Model 2.
Oh, sweet. Okay, another version.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we have it in the archive. Pete's got, I think, 223 and 225, but they're not complete. There's some issues with the images. So
it has pretty sophisticated CPM implementation for the Model 2.
Yeah.
I believe it has that ability to use the 68K memory cards, right, for the Z80 memory. Yeah, so you can go way beyond 64K and bank on the 68K memory. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's correct, Pete. It had 2 levels. The level 2 is the one that used the 68K memory if it was available. And there was various amounts of add-ons you could get for the Atons. And those discs have something that we haven't seen before in the archive.
Always good to add to the archive. Thanks, Eric. Ken Konitzer. Hey, mate.
Hello, everybody.
What's
You
that?
hear me all right? This is my first time trying to Zoom on Linux, so I want to make sure it's working.
You're breaking up.
Am I?
No.
Oh. Thanks.
Go on. What have you been working on?
Well, this is my first time to make this live. I've watched all the rest of them on YouTube after the fact because things keep coming up. So not really got any major projects going at this point. I started with a Model 1 in 79, 4K level 1. Upgraded that over the next few years till I ended up with a couple of floppy drives and 48K. Then went to a Model 4, which I ordered from Radio Shack when they first came out with the green phosphor monitor. And what I have now is the Model 4. I basically replaced the one I had back then except for the monitor. So it's got the 128K RAM, high-res card, all that kind of stuff. Most of it thanks to Mav. So I've been trying to keep him in business over there. Oh, I haven't bought anything lately. And that's really about it. I'm just kind of trying to get some time to get into some things, and I have too many projects going, as you can, like most of you. I got the two things behind me too, PDP-8i and a PDP-1170 from a little earlier than the Model 4.
Always seems to be a lot of interest in the PDPs from TRS-80 people. I kind of, it always amuses me that how many people are into the vintage deck gear that's also into the TRS-80s. It's I don't know anyone who's a big Apple IIe fan who's into them, but it's interesting. So are you waiting for? So you want to put a green tube into your Model 4? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've been thinking about it, but I see now.
I'm telling you now, you've thought about it too long. Because
I know. I was gonna say. I think I thought about it too long because you almost can't get them anymore. Pretty much can't get them. It looks like.
Well, we were until a couple of months ago available to get them from VDC, but word of mouth in the TRS-80 community means that. I think last time I was talking to Gina, they had something like 60 of them, but the last are gone. So gone the way of the dodo, and it sort of wouldn't surprise you that they're not going to manufacture any more of them. So
no, I was actually kind of surprised that they even had any a few months back.
I think they probably, I think they're probably old stock. But I mean, I bought a bunch of them; and they work beautifully. But there's people around who do tear down rough machines, like Jay or Patrick might be able to fix you up with a tube if you ask them nicely and throw them some dollars.
Yeah, at least I've got everything else, so it still runs like the old one. It just doesn't quite look the same.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Are you coming to Tandy Assembly this year?
I don't know yet. I got a lot of things going on at this point, and I would like to get there. Just depends on a few things that may or may not interfere at this point.
Fair enough. You couldn't stop me. Well, you can actually, just by locking borders. But anyway, enough said about that. All right. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Let's see. Paul Metcalf, how you going, buddy?
Good. Not much new.
Stand up and show us your shirt. I'm trying to work out what your shirt is.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, that's great.
Still can't see what it says.
It says vintage on top.
Nerd. Vintage 80s nerd, but obviously it's a Model 1, so somebody got it wrong.
Yeah. That's cool. Get them while you can before cease and desist orders.
Exactly.
There's no radio.
Yeah, I got us.
The only thing I got going on lately is I got a Fred off of eBay from someone else who joined us tonight. Your little rivalry going on there. Secondhand, I'm assuming, and it seems to work.
It came with the Model 4D. I've never used a Fred in my life. I had no idea what to do with it, so I put it on eBay.
Wait, Pete Bartlett sold a Fred?
I didn't know I was getting one, but it came with the Model 4D, so I sold it.
Well, now here's a question: has Mav ever sold a Mize or a M3 SE?
I've got both, but I've never used them.
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, did it have the little silver sticker on it?
Yeah,
It
it had
did.
silver sticker on the top of the case.
It had the little case and it had the little sticker, and it was very cute.
Every so often,
Its Ethernet capabilities were somewhat lacking.
Yeah, I know. As a shrunk down Tandy hard drive box, it's pretty good though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my plan now, is to get all the files backed up off of the real hard drive onto the Fred, so that I have, when the 5 meg finally decides to give up the ghost, I will have it, backed up at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I'm on borrowed time with that, but so a year so far so good.
better with
That's
you
that's amazing.
than with me. Couldn't
I'm
wait
pretty
to
sure
get
I
rid
was
of it.
I was on borrowed time with my 5 meg hard drive in 1991 or something. So the fact that it still runs now.
Yeah, we kind of discussed this a little bit on the Discord a little earlier, about those old hard drives. And Pete said, it's maybe 50-50 that they'll work.
Yeah, at least.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah. On a non-Tandy related topic, I've been I had an XT clone set up with an MFM controller and decided since it's easier to type G equals C800 on an XT than to format a TRS-80 hard drive, I'll go through all my MFM drives and see if they work. And I think I found one in 15 that worked. That didn't have any bad blocks or anything, because obviously I'm not going to trade in a hard drive that's already got bad sectors or anything. So they're a miracle to find a good used MFM drive these days.
Yeah, and you need a controller too, right?
Yeah.
I destroyed a K-Pro 10 extracting the controller, which is a WD 1010 something or other MFM controller, and that worked great with an MFM drive. I've still got the thing. I don't use it anymore. Might actually put it up on eBay or something and try to sell it, because I have no use for it anymore. I haven't touched it in 10 years.
The Tandy controllers are pretty reliable.
Yeah.
The majority of them that I have work that I'm up to. So.
And as is always the case with this hobby, the minute you'll sell it, you'll need it. So don't sell it.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Cool. All right. Who we got next? Bill Bright.
Hey, how you guys doing? I got here a little late. Sorry, I missed the show.
Better late than never.
I guess that's true. I haven't been up to much. I've been mucking around with that Model 3 that was a parts machine, essentially. Threw the amber tube in there, and it started working pretty good. But I really think I want to get the 4 video board. So I'm trying to make sure that's gonna work for me.
Yeah, worked on my Model 3. Hard to find good used ones these days, but you'll get there.
Oh, I think there's one on eBay that I've been spying. So
you're looking to upgrade the video board for what, better clarity?
Well, the first thing was it was really fuzzy. It just was not a good picture. Even when with the original tube in there with the white phosphor, it just wasn't good, and it didn't really improve that much with the amber. But then in monkeying around with it, I think that I've done something with the flyback, because it's not registering at all now. I'm literally getting nothing. I'm getting the warmer. I'm getting the glow on the neck of the tube, but that's about it.
No raster when you turn up the brightness control to full?
No raster at all. It's just completely gone. So I think in messing around with it, I think I've twisted that cable that comes out of the flyback enough that I've shaken something loose in there, or I've broken a solder joint loose.
Well, are you really a TRS-80 aficionado if you haven't broken something in the process of fixing it?
Oh, I've broken things on many systems, so that's what I consider part of the learning process.
It is. Cool. You coming along to Tandy Assembly this year, Bill?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's in the cards all 3 days if it's there. So
it's on, but they won't let me out of the country, so I won't be there. But
yeah, I know. I got that sad news through Facebook, I think, or some other way. So certainly will miss you. I assume they're going to Skype you in or Zoom meeting you in for the trivia contest, though, right?
Well, there was an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon was mounted to a robotic laptop, and he just made his way around his apartment and spoke to people. We could employ a variation on that.
We're gonna have the life-size cardboard cutout.
You know what? I'm suspicious of any TRS-80 guys who don't wear glasses. Because it's like, okay, there's like two.
I probably should be. When I'm soldering and now I can't reach the things so that I can see it, then I guess I have to relent and get some glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had 47 years of perfect eyesight and then this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went about 48, so I had a year on you, but I've got them on now, so I can be trusted.
I'm going beyond that. I've had cataract surgery, so they put new lenses in, so I don't need glasses anymore.
Oh, lucky. Yeah. Well, I'm all about retro styling, so I'd be looking for some of those 60s NHS style glasses that the scientific types in England in the 60s wore. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, otherwise it sounds like complete bollocks. But anyway, they're very thick rimmed, nerdy glasses. If I'm going to nerd, I'm going to full nerd.
CCGs, as we used to call them in the military.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Bill. I think this is the first time you've been on here, isn't it?
I actually made it a couple of times ago, so a couple meetings back I made it on, but this is the first time I've had a project.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't have the glasses last time, so you weren't trusted.
Well, it's vanity. Yeah.
All right. Al Schemer. Hey, mate.
Hey, how's everybody going?
Good.
So I've just been mostly dealing with real life stuff. I got benches or shelves in my little workroom now, so I've been reorganizing that. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not much into video, so that's why I have a picture instead of video. That way you don't see me smoking either.
Mav, you talking?
Mav, we can't.
Yeah, I'm talking. What have you been working on?
Mostly rearranging my whole workbench so I can put together the threads that I've got and the little TRS-80 emulator and all the other things. I do have my 3D printer printing out a front panel for my Model 3 right now to be able to put GoTech and a Fred in it.
Cool. I gave up trying to clean my areas a long time ago. I just take up more space now. Just yeah, that's what most of my work areas look like on a good day. Surprises me sometimes the standard of the things I get out, considering the rudimentary place that it's built. But anyway,
Well, if I ever get that MSI 80 off of there, I've got 4 Model 4s and 3 Model 3s behind me that I had picked up off eBay earlier this year, and I still haven't checked them out.
All in good time. All right, thanks for that, Al. Nearly done. Steve Burden. Hello, Steve. Nope, just a listener. Okay, Peter N.
Yeah, I didn't have anything new this time. Just got my all my airlines and hotel stuff for Tandy Assembly set up. I was a little bit surprised that the venue hotel could not accommodate a day before or a day after the event. I know on the website here, the special rate is only good for just the 2 nights. There was no extra message about that, like the first, like I think it was like 2018 or something. There was a little red message on the web page that said that the special rate was only good for just the 2 nights. They didn't put that on there this time, but yeah, I tried several different ways. You know, I went in directly to the Marriott's website and typed in, you know, Wednesday to Friday, and it wouldn't take, and Thursday to Monday is what I wanted, and it wouldn't take, and the Saturday to Wednesday, and it wouldn't take. So I don't know. There must be something else going on down there, or they don't have all of their rooms available.
Yeah, I had the same experience. The Thursday and the Sunday night are basically extortionist.
Not for me, it wasn't. I just said to them, hey, I want Thursday and Sunday at the same price. And they said, no worries, mate. Well, without saying mate. They just
Well,
Yeah,
I guess it must be
I didn't really give them
your
didn't really give them an option.
your silver tongue or something, because they didn't give me that deal.
Yeah. So of course, I didn't actually call the place. I just did it online. So I ended up staying down a little ways at the same rate for all night. So
I couldn't get it to work online at all. I had to call their 800 number, and the lady finally, you know, she ended up making like 4 or 3 reservations, I forget, but she finally got it all sorted, and I got all the days that I wanted. But the website just could not deal with it.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Okay, so guys, the key is call in, and the second thing you got to do is tell them you're with the Tandy Assembly. If you don't tell them that, they'll tell you they have no rooms because there's a group of rooms that have been blocked off for Tandy Assembly. I called after the thing came up. I had no problem, but until I told them I was with Tandy Assembly, they were like, "Oh, well, you know, getting a room is going to be tough."
Yeah,
And
another
that's the
trick
key.
is calling in.
Yeah, calling in.
Directed to, you know, Marriott's call center. That doesn't work good. You got to go to the hotel itself.
Has anyone else checked out the rental car rates from Columbus? They're insane. Insane.
Yeah, they're all insane right now because they sold off the fleet for COVID.
Yeah.
And now you can't buy cars because you can't buy parts.
I got a corporate rate after trying, you know, for 5 days of a rental car, it was going to be over $500. And I finally got a corporate rate from a job my wife quit 25 years ago. And so it was less than half of what anybody else can get.
Lucky dog.
In certain states, it's so bad that people have resorted to renting U-Haul trucks and pickups because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I was torn between actually driving it here from Colorado, which, you know, 5 or 6 nights of hotels is going to be a little expensive, but at least I get to bring a bunch of equipment, right? But, you know, my good friend Malcolm never has a problem with bringing a whole lot of equipment. He always leaves with more equipment than he arrives with. he buys everything in the place. But, you know, he always graciously brought pretty much all the equipment that we show on our table.
Well, anyway, in 2018, when I was there last, had no problems doing any of this stuff online. So it's got to be like, it's got to be the COVID. People have shut down, people have sold off resources, or something another has happened. And it's just a little bit more difficult this time.
Clearly they sold off their fleets, because 2018 and 2019, I looked it up. For 5 days, a rental car was $211, and now they want 500 plus.
Yeah, that's about what I paid out of the airport. It was about 200 or something.
Yeah.
It used to be like unbelievably cheap. It was like about $20 or something like that a day to get a cheap car there in Ohio, whereas it's like 50 or 60 a day here in California.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna update the website and just mention to people, call the local number and definitely mention that you are with Tandy Assembly. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get the rate, but you're right, they're also blocking off the block of rooms. Arnold Puder just told me earlier today that they were sold out, and he got an Airbnb somewhere. But I want to follow up with him to make sure he told them that he was with Tandy Assembly. So I'm not sure if they're actually sold out now or not.
yeah, it would be kind of interesting to know how many other people tend to want to, you know, since I'm coming from California on a plane, you know, want to get there the day in advance, a day before and a day and leave the day after. If you're going to go to the Tech Talk, it would be kind of interesting to know what percentage of people would want like 4 days at the hotel versus like 2 nights at the hotel. So maybe we could, you know, block out a wider thing of rooms next time, instead of just, you know, the special rate of the 2 nights, you know, go with 4 nights or go with 3 nights or something.
A wider time umbrella. I mean, the international fly-ins tend to get there on Wednesday night, late at night. So, you know, it's because I don't want to land the night before and have to, you know.
When I booked my room maybe 2 nights ago, 2 weeks ago, they said it was the last one. Literally, they said it was the last one. You know, is it true? I don't know.
Right.
If you've ever bought a new automobile, Peter, you know that
the last one.
It's always the last one of its type when you go there, particularly if you want a specialist car.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. That's what they tell everybody.
And there's a lot of people that are interested in it. So if you want it, you got to get it now.
Yeah. Well, I bought it.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's all I had.
Maybe we're going to have a big turnout at Tandy Assembly, or maybe there's something else going on.
How can they get those kind of rates in Springfield, Ohio, in the middle of the freaking winter?
How can there be anything else in Springfield, Ohio at the exact same time?
There isn't. You have to drive half an hour to get to a freaking restaurant.
Well, now in 2019, they double booked an event, so we got sent over to the museum. So I guess there's other things that do happen in Springfield.
That's because
that was a bit of a silver lining, that one. I thought I liked the museum. It's a pity we can't go back into it.
It was, the museum was a nice space. It was just kind of dark.
Yeah,
it was very
black
dark.
walls. Yeah,
yeah, and then if you brought stuff in, you come in early, you've got it in your hotel, and you've got to take it over the next day when the museum opened to set up, and then when you're done, if you're leaving the next day, you had to drag it back to the hotel room. So.
Yeah, but we got free admission to the museum, which is actually a pretty cool museum.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I think that's everyone except Aaron Brockbank.
Aaron, wake up.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's new in Newcastle?
Well, coldish, but we're not locked down. That only extends to about 30 miles away is is where the lockdown ends. Sydney and the greater regions in lockdown for the next 2 weeks, which coincides again with another set of school holidays. Last month I did travel down into what is now locked down to see whether I could find Dick Smith, who didn't turn up again to the field day. But given that it was pushed forward 5 months and it was a terrible day for flying anything in, like a helicopter, like he normally does, that's not unusual for him. On the other front, I've been checking out some of the stuff that applies to the TRS-80, but is sort of adjacent to it. And Exity bought out, well, someone who used an Exity Sorcerer bought out a cartridge and a set of enhancements, or like rewiring necessary to turn an Exity Sorcerer into a TRS-80 complete with graphics. I'm currently investigating that. That sounds pretty interesting as a sort of side sort of thing. And that's about it, really. I've got a couple of things on their way which will make its way into the archive, the Model 2 archive. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool. Okay. I think that's everyone who's been here. Has anyone got anything else they wanted to mention?
I have a box-related question.
For Patrick?
I'm assuming so.
It's more historical. I remember back in the day being told that the boxes were designed so that the computer could be dropped 4 feet off the back of the truck and survive. And I'm wondering if I made this up or if I heard this somewhere. Given where I was, it probably could have only come out of the 80 Micro magazine, but I don't know if anyone's heard this alleged spec.
Well, I don't know about the TRS-80, but that was pretty much a standard test at HP. For,
I was going to say maybe that's an industry standard.
Yeah. My Model 1 can't stand 6 inches of drop.
I used to work at a company called Verifone that makes the credit card authorization terminals. And at one time, HP had owned us, and that was the standard. We used to go over to one of their labs to do our drop testing, and for the it was pretty much standard was 4 feet and 2 feet.
Yeah, I think they the designers of the Model 2 were not in communication with the designers of the box because it couldn't even withstand 2 feet. Is that right, Peter? I'm pretty sure that's they didn't last very long in the boxes. Who told us that? Was that Don French?
Maybe Yetsko.
Yeah, I think it was Yetsko mentioned that.
Hey, Mom, why are those men dropping computers off the back of the truck?
Well, wasn't the whole thing the fact that they put a whole lot of Model 2s on the back of a truck to transfer them from one to the other, one store to the other or one place to the other as a test run, and about 2 out of the 36 or something survived?
Yeah. Well, it was early days. Maybe they didn't have the packaging down pat at that point. Because I know the boxes that they came in, I had a Tandy 6000 box at one time, and the thing was massive. So they did.
Yeah. But I thought they were gonna they were taking them to a show or something, and so they sent them, and when they got to the show to unpack them, they were all busted. That was
I think
that's a pretty accurate story. I think that happened early on, but it all comes down to the design of the Model 2 with that flex plate on the bottom. That's everything else inside it flop around. So yeah. Speaking of packaging, you'd never see it, but I did have a packing document for that line printer one you've got, Peter. And they came in a wooden box. You actually needed a hammer with a claw thing to unpack it and set it up. But that is actually a Centronics printer, not a Tandy one. So it would have been subject to Centronics standard of packing, not Radio Shack. So wooden boxes probably the best way to go. But
if you don't have a line,
greenies would hate it.
You don't have a line printer one in your collection. You need to get one. It's a massive printer.
Well, it certainly
Or
saves
the
going.
daisy wheel.
Yeah, a daisy wheel or a line printer one saves you on gym memberships. Jay, you've joined us. Hey, mate.
Lloyd, how you doing? Hey,
Did
Jay.
did you have an afternoon nap and just wake up?
Yeah, yeah. I kind of
Called
laid
it.
down. Next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, you're lucky last. What have you been up to?
Not much. Ian Lockard revised that Model 4P power board. I got him in, and I'm building one right now. But I don't think I'm going to pursue it because I don't want to take any chances with this guy who designed the actual PC board. So I'm having somebody else design one that's completely different looking, but will do the same thing with a lot less components. And that's about it.
Yeah. How's the parts going?
I'm getting orders for badges here and there, and I'm getting a couple orders for the Model 3 power supply. Then some of the guys, Eric, have you put one in your machines yet?
I've got it, but I haven't had a chance to put it in. I was going to put it in that Tandy 3.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've got two of them in my Model 3s, and they just work beautifully.
Hey Jay, when you come to Tandy Assembly, I may be looking for one of those if I can get this video stuff sorted.
I'll be bringing some. Hopefully, I'll have 3s and I'll have Model 4 units there.
Sweet.
So,
you got
one
any
question
green?
to know, how long do we have to be before we book our reservations?
We've already done that. They're out of rooms.
They are?
Well, we're not sure, but depending on who's contacting them in what manner, they're saying they're out of rooms. So basically, I would call them first thing Monday.
All right.
And
Call
make
the
sure
local
you
and
mention
call them.
the Tandy Assembly.
Yes. All right.
Why
Yeah.
call them on Monday? They're open every day of the week.
All right. Well,
The recommendation is to call the hotel directly. Don't call the general 800 number. You need to call their location.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
All right. I'll do it tomorrow.
yeah. Well, the only reason I say Monday is because just say they've got the juniors on the weekend, and someone can override it on Monday and add a few more rooms. You might likely get them, but yeah, get onto them sooner rather than later.
Do they have any numbers of how many people are going to show this year?
1,000.
1,000?
I mean, you have to understand, Springfield is hopping in October. I mean, it's the place to be.
Well, that's because Ian's not going to be there. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, Jay. Anything else, or that's basically it?
Yeah, one of the Sasha is developing. He's coming out with a 3D printed case with the Pocket TRS. So I'm in collaboration with him making some labels. I think I showed a picture of it last time. So I got him on order, and then I'm going to send them to him, and he's going to, make the specs on his printing case for the units. He's real excited about it. So I'll have those available soon. That's about it.
Cool. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
John.
Hey, so I've been playing with my Model 100 again and got one of these really cool backpacks. Finally got it working. It's pretty awesome. I was fairly impressed with how easy it is to store even a large number of files on there. It supports directories if you use the TS-DOS that comes in the image that you install on it. It's been pretty fun. I've been trying to see how much I can load on it. There's memory limitations how much you can put in the actual RAM, but so far it's been a lot of fun. So it's been really neat to dust off the 100 and play with it for a bit. Let's see what else. Obviously I'm going to be at TA this year. It'll be my first time. I talked to Ken, and I'm going to be bringing a few of these guys, the USB to Model 2 keyboard adapters. So I'll have some of the just, SD card plus the blank board where you can assemble it, or I'll have a few fully assembled ones if anybody wants those. So
Those work like a champ.
Ken and I did good work, even if I do say so myself.
Oh, tell us about so you'll be speaking at Tandy Assembly, right? Tell us what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so I'm just going to basically recount how we ended up at Xenix at Tandy R&D. So, I'll introduce myself, describe my background a little bit, and then describe, kind of the things that we were working on a little bit before, how the hardware came in, how we, worked on like UNOS for 9 months and then had Microsoft pull the rug out from under us. But yeah, fun stories, maybe some Frank Durda stories, Haven't really worked out the outline for the talk yet, but should be fun.
Historical stuff really goes down well at that place, I've found, because not everyone wants to be there listening to tech stuff nonstop. So,
and then when you twiddle bit one, right?
Yeah.
No, but there's going to be some cool technical stuff. I really I'm looking forward to seeing the hardware and just, what everybody brings and, some of the tech classes and stuff. I really want to see what Bartlett Labs has there. I'm really not familiar with his stuff. I'm disappointed you're not going to be there, Mav. I really wanted to meet you in person.
It's all right. Pete Bartlett will be selling Freds on my behalf.
Hey, I sold one. Pete's been trying to talk me into doing a Tech Track presentation, but I just don't know what it's going to be that would be of general interest. I mean, I've got so much stuff.
I've done one. I just make it up as I go along. That's pretty much how I did. I don't know if people were listening to me or just confused with my accent, but it went down well.
They weren't confused. They were just laughing at it.
Yeah.
No.
I have to get Randy Weaver to edit that damn Tech Track talk of mine and put it up online. Can you?
I have the disadvantage of not having been at the Tech Track 2 years ago, so I don't really know how it goes.
You stand up there, you talk, and then
why Bartlett's Labs is so much better than that other guy who's not here.
Yeah, the guy in Australia, he's way over there.
Yeah, overpriced, and
he's got no Ethernet. He's got no Ethernet at all.
Use FPGAs. Come on.
It takes a lot of time to get anywhere.
I know.
Pete Bartlett, you could talk about how, like the details of how you build a mice.
Yeah, but who's really interested in that? I don't know.
How to use it, maybe.
You could talk about how the Tandy systems are all immune to ransomware attacks.
Yeah, the reason I went off the Trash Talk podcast, I was there pretty much from the beginning. The reason I went off is that I'm pretty much a Model 1 guy, and they started going off onto stuff I didn't know anything about. And so I didn't feel like I could contribute anymore because I'm a Model 1 guy, right? And so, I don't know what I have that would be of interest to anyone.
You're quite right. There is absolutely no Model 1 lovers out there.
No.
Model 1.
Well, and
what's a Model 1?
There's fewer every day because they're dying.
Well,
the Model 1 was where it all started. Come on, man.
Well, it wasn't called the Model 1 because like who in World War I called it World War I? They didn't because
it was the Great War.
Yeah, and the Model 1's the great computer.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do a presentation, but I just don't know what it is. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So what we're going to do for the next trash talk is we're all going to come up with an idea for Peter to talk about at the trash talk and at the Tandy assembly, and the one that has the most merit, that's what you're going to do, Peter. How's that sound?
Arnold Puder's going to be doing a tech talk on the Pocket TRS and all the details about how he designed it and built it. So I mean,
I can kind of do vegetable gardening or something.
Yeah, soldering.
I'm good at soldering.
Something that I would be interested in hearing you talk about is taking modern design principles and then applying them to, retro tech solutions, right? That would be cool, right? I mean, you're using all these, modern electrical bits, the FPGAs and whatnot, and using them to do interesting things with. I would totally go to that.
One thing I think people might be interested in is learning how to do a basic VGA. A basic, my first VGA was done in gals. It was like 8 of them, but it was all done in gals. Would that be interesting? I don't know, because it's really not as hard as people think.
Well, then
sure, why not? I mean,
as long as it has a original slant to it, like
do it. Yeah.
It's
pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure Arno did a kind of a basic introduction to GAL at 2019. So
And you know what? Gals got harder recently because Lattice, who is the company that makes most of the gals, recently decided to charge $600 a year for their design software, which used to be free. So now you have to use, what's it called, WinCouple or something, where you actually have to write the equations instead of, I'm a chip design engineer. That's my career, right? I'm used to writing the functional description of what the chip does and let the tool turn it into the actual equations. Well, I can't swing $600 a year for ISP Lever Classic is what it's called. So, I've got all these chips that I can basically never use again unless I pay the ransom. Not happy about that.
Isn't it an old product as well? I mean, they're like
it's all obsolete products that they don't produce anymore, but they decided to charge $600 a year for software that they don't even support anymore.
They're trying to move people on to newer products.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Well, a lot of people have gone to the cloud computing. So basically, instead of selling you a package that you agree to an end user license that allows you to use it until you upgrade it or whatever for some fixed amount of price that they don't really make any money on, they're just gone to basically a month by month rental of their software, and that's how they can make a continuous income stream.
Yeah, but it's chips they no longer support, obviously. They no longer make, but they were some awesome chips. Like the ISP LSI 1032E. This thing had, it's a CPLD. It's not an FPGA. This thing has 192 flip-flops in it, which you can't get one these days with that many flip-flops. You just can't. It was an awesome chip, and I built so many things with it, but now they want $600 for the software.
You can't find an older version of the software?
No, I tried. I tried. You can't.
It's not considered a business expense.
I've got hundreds of these chips back in my storage room, but I can't use.
It's not a business expense, Peter.
Oh yeah, it would be, but
write it off.
$600 business expense is not as good as having $600.
I suppose. Yeah.
Hey, we've got Stuart Feldhammer has joined us. Hey, Stu.
Hey, Stuart.
Thanks for the invite. Yeah, no. So I really wanted to get in to say a couple things. Not to really to advertise, but my YouTube channel, Stu's Game Reviews. I've been doing TRS-80 game reviews about once a week. I have this one scheduled for tomorrow. Flying so the blur is getting it. You can see it anyway. It's Flying Saucers by Radio Shack. So that's hopefully tomorrow. But that's not what I wanted to say. Actually, I wanted to say two things. One is that I recently streamed the game Reality Ends by Med Systems, which is a text adventure. Like they made Asylum also, but Reality Ends is one of their earlier games. It has some graphical tricks in there. They have like a little auto map on the bottom right of the screen. And the way I stream this stuff is I have the original cassettes and I load them up into my PC and I use an emulator. So I was using TRS-32 and it wasn't working. And then I tried using TRS-80 GP and it also wasn't working. But George actually helped me get it to work. It seems like there's a weird thing with the game where, first of all, it doesn't accept lowercase, but it only accepts uppercase. But even so, it wasn't working. Like even if I had like my caps lock on or whatever. So at the end of the day, TRS-32 like failed the challenge. So I don't know if the guy who makes that is around here wants to try to get it to work on that. But TRS-80 GP did actually work at the end, and that's what I used to stream it. So I appreciate the help, George. That's one of the things I wanted to say. And the other thing is, so far all the TRS-80 games I've streamed have been cassette based because those are easy to get up and running. I'm trying to find a solution to get discs onto actual emulator formats. I have a CryoFlux, so I can sample them, but I don't know how to convert them over. And there's some website I found. I don't know if it was one of Peter's or one of somebody else's, but like basically says don't bother or something like that. there must be a way to get it to work. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to figure it out, but I did want to put like a plea out there to the community. If anybody has any idea how to use a CryoFlux or something similar to image TRS-80 Model 1 discs without actually having a TRS-80 drive, because I'm sure if you use a TRS-80, you could do it, but I'm trying to find a solution that doesn't require having a TRS-80. If anybody knows of a solution or anything like that, whether you're on this, or this group right now, or you're just watching it after the fact, please let me know because I'd love to find a solution like that. So that's what I wanted to say.
Dude, almost every game for the TRS-80, the images are available.
First of all, that's not relevant. I know that's true, but like I still like to use my own original media.
Sure.
But also like I bet you there's something out there which is not dumped. Just actually as an example, whenever I do a TRS-80 stream, I try to do an issue of C-Load magazine, and the earlier cassettes are very hard to dump off tapes because they just were not recorded very well. And there's one that I have, which I couldn't get, and I had to use the online, like archive. There's another one where the online archive was missing a couple of files. They said we couldn't get a good dump, and I was able to get a good dump from my tape, So it's not, sometimes maybe it's something I have that's unique. Who knows? But regardless, even if that's not the case, I really love to use the original media and like pull it off there. It makes me like super happy for whatever reason. So I'm still looking for a solution.
Glad original media makes you super happy because it makes me want to throw it against the wall sometimes.
It'll make him happy until it starts self-destroying in his drive.
Well, I'm able to pull it off. I'm able to like pull the top, like all the data off using the CryoFlux. I mean, so that part works, but I can't actually convert it to anything usable. It's like CryoFlux operates at a very low level, and it pulls like the flux magnetic timings off the disk and stuff like that, which is a little more technical for me even. I'm a computer science major, but I'm not an electrical engineer, so all the hardware stuff is a little bit beyond me. But yeah, you can get the stuff off the discs, but turning them into a usable format is what's the hard part, unfortunately. I know there's a way to do it, but
you can create the flux images.
Yes.
So there are tools that will convert those to like IMD files and DMK files.
Okay.
HXC, the HXC tools will convert the because I did that with a bunch of discs.
Into which format? IMD?
Yeah.
And which emulator will take that, or will any emulator take that?
You can just convert it to DSK, and then they'll work with the TRS-80 GP.
So I can get it from first to IMD, and then from IMD to DSK somehow.
Directly to DSK, I think.
From HXC supports DSK. Oh yeah, I'll check it out. I do have HSC. The problem is there's a lot of tools, and even HXC is not like super user friendly.
When you click the export button, don't look at the file format, and you could just select, and there's like a whole list of export files. You can do it in various formats.
All right, I'm going to try it. If it works or it doesn't work, I'll report back here next time, let you guys know. But that's a great tip. Thank you very much, Peter and Patrick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and TRS-80 GP will accept the IMD format, so you can try that.
Even better.
And as long as it isn't copy protected, it should be okay.
I think IMD does like handle some types of copy protection, but not all. But I think most of these discs are not copy protected anyway. I could be wrong, but I mean, you guys would probably know better than me, but I don't think they use like major copy protection on most old TRS-80 discs. But
it's not common, yeah. Yeah, it's not common.
All right, cool. I appreciate it very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, cool. IMD won't do mixed densities or mixed sector sizes terribly well.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for that, Stuart. All right, we've got 3 minutes to go. Any last words? We're nearly up. Time up.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Vernon.
I have 2 Model 4Ps and 2 Model 4s, non-gate array. I bought these off of eBay 8 years ago, and I finally unboxed them in April.
Okay.
And
can't rush these things.
They lose sync in the 80 character mode. They're okay
Yeah.
in 64 character mode. They lose sync in the 80 character mode. Is that a simple fix or is that a major overhaul?
It is. You know, the last TRS 8-bit, I wrote about that exact thing. So just, you know, pull out the copy and have a read of my article. It says that non-syncing feeling.
Yeah. There's some guy on Facebook's got the same problem, and I sent him your article. I in fact copied your article over to him, and he's thankful.
Yeah.
He said it fixed the problem right up.
Yeah, they all have them, those non-gate Model 4s. So, yeah, it's an easy fix, Vernon. Knock yourself out.
As long as it's not an AVA revision board, which doesn't have that little thing at the top, then you're out of luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Something I still have to do to my 4P as well.
Yeah, it's fun on the 4P. I'll grant you that. They put it in the best possible place, the adjuster, but the Vericap. But anyway. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're doing it again in a month's time, Peter.
Yeah, I have one more thing.
Okay.
I'm actually selling a computer. This 16B plus behind me.
I'll be over tomorrow to pick it up.
Yeah, it's already claimed. Sorry, but I just want to let everybody know I do sell computers every once in a while.
You got $1 million for that thing.
That's what I'm asking.
Cool. If it was here, I'd have bought it already. But
all right, everybody, make sure you check his monitor the next time we're here for. Make sure that machine is gone.
Oh, just move it.
He's got like 10 of them, so you can just put another one there.
Just kind of an out there question. How much interest is there or would there be in some of the other stuff I've developed in FPGAs? Like I have a floppy controller, double-sided double density. I have a VGA controller. I have RS-232. I have a TMS 9918A video controller. You know, how much interest would there be in anybody else wanting to use those things? Because, you know, it's no great secret.
Are they at prototype stage?
No, it's Verilog. You can do whatever you want. No, I've been using them for 10 years.
Well, bring them along and show them at the show, and people will pretty quickly tell you whether it's something, you know, that they want or not. It's all economies of scale, isn't it? I mean, I release stuff that I know I'm only going to sell 10 of, but I just put it out there because.
Yeah, I mean, people think RS-232 is really complicated, right? But it's not. It's a pretty simple thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite thing about them, RS-232. And I've got a Model 1 expansion interface. I need an RS-232 port for.
Yeah, it's just, it's just a matter of having a much faster clock than the RS-232 clock, which is not very hard.
Yeah.
Mav, don't you sell that?
I do sell them. They're available on eBay or through my website.
No, I didn't intend this to be an advertisement for Mav, but okay.
And since Mav won't be there,
there you go.
Yeah, I know, Pete. You could really clean up this time around without me being there.
Yeah, but you know me. I'm not a salesman at all.
I'm not either.
Oh yeah. The guy that showed up in the
Especially this
four-piece
year.
suit in the
We do
necktie. Yeah, you're not a salesman.
He's not. All the other guys are referring people to him directly.
Yeah, it's word of mouth. And if you're ever at a thing, you always dress one step above the average. That's my my policy.
I do the reverse, but
all right, everyone, we've gone over 2 hours. I think we're going to call it a show. All right, thanks for coming along.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
next
everyone.
time around.
Next
All right.
time.
Bye, everyone.
thanks, Mav. Thanks, Pete.
Later.